Over the past year, we've moved to our off-grid property where we have been working non-stop to create the homestead of our dreams.
And while we may not be all the way there, lots has been done to bring us closer to that goal.
We've managed to completely re-landscape and regrade our living space, put in a massive and private driveway, build a luxurious bathhouse, which is really just a glorified outhouse, set up an epic container shop to build out of, and we've even began construction of our tiny home. That's just a few of the things.
There have been countless hours of long days, great memories, and a couple of tears, and a good chunk of our savings put into this dream. Now we want to show you how we did it. So one of the most important parts was getting onto our property, and there was an existing driveway, but it was more of like an off-road trail. So what we ended up doing was, you can see we cut out the land there, and now it's so much better. We like completely widened this by at least double. It used to be here and then there's a cliff down. And so we cut that away. See? So we ended up doing the rest of the driveway ourselves after we had a bulldozer help us clear the entranceway. And then what we did was we widened the driveway. As you can see here, we widened it out from the forest and we added all our own gravel and everything like that just to make it comfortable. Before, this was all sand. That was 150,000 pounds of gravel. It's a pretty long driveway. And we did it all ourselves, but we're pretty stoked with it.
So this is our property. Over here we have our tiny home that we've kind of started building on. More to come later on that. Back there we have a washroom slash outhouse, which has a bath, so I love it. We also have a deck and the van that we've still been living in full time for almost 4 years now. We've also set up a shop and have a storage, what do you call them? Storage shelter that you can store tractors and stuff in. And then over here, we've got trailers that we're storing for my dad and our fire pit that used to be an actual pit that we filled in with all the tree matter from the property. So it's been 4 years and we're still living in our van. It's actually really nice to still have the van. We live out of here full time and it's really helpful to have a place to live while also having space to spread out our stuff. As you can see, we've got the moonshade to help us with work in the day. We've got a secondhand deck from my parents here. It really extends the living space and we're able to spread out. I can do yoga here, that kind of stuff. David's got his barbecue. And we set up some lights to try and make it feel more like home. And honestly, it really does. We look forward to coming back here all the time, especially when we've been in a city for a little bit too long.
So I'm gonna show you my favorite part of our property so far, which is the shop. Now next to the shop is our kind of carport. It's where we store our tractor and our bikes and our garbage and our gas, just random things that can stay in the shelter. But yeah, our shop is basically a shipping container, and it's a really good use of a shipping container. So the reason we had to bring this onto the property is because we had a ton of stuff from our previous life in homes, and we wanted to bring some of that stuff into our tiny home eventually, so we needed somewhere to store it. So what we did was we put all of our tools on the wall. We have a nice tool wall. We have everything we need to build a home. And then on the other side, we have all of our storage, which is like all of our old clothes that we still want. I don't know, stuff that's gonna go in the home, like fixtures and lamps and sheets and all that kind of crap. So we have it all, and we downsized a lot, but we still have a lot of stuff. But yeah, this is our shipping container. And then we also still have my car, which is nice when we don't have to move the van and we can go to town and get groceries and stuff like that. And one more thing that's very important is our puppy. So this is Sadie.
If you can even call her a puppy anymore.
Yeah. Sadie's 1.5 years and she is a wire-haired Vizsla. and she is rambunctious as ever, as you can see. But she's a really good girl, and she loves, I know, baby.
You love your dad.
I know. She loves this property a lot. She spends all day outside hunting squirrels and birds. And yeah, she loves it.
We love her. Good girl, Sadie-kins. Don't bark. No barking. Thank you. So behind me is our luxury off-grid outhouse. It actually is an outhouse, but we've done our best to make it very nice inside so that when we need to go to the washroom, need to take a nice shower, we're not dealing with the van. We actually have a separate washroom to do that. We built it off of a metal frame that we found on the property. We've done a lot of thinking and strategizing, trying to make sure that we're using everything we can from the property if it's there without having to buy new stuff. So we actually won't show you guys the inside of this yet. We're gonna save that for another video, but it's something we've been working on really hard and we're super proud of the way it turned out for a small budget.
Okay, so some of the systems we have on our off-grid property to keep us going are a well. So our well is about 90 feet deep and we got it drilled last summer. And there's a lot of money in that. That's about $13,000 right there, but it's pretty necessary on an off-grid property to have water. Another thing we have is Starlink, which is satellite internet. So up on that pole, we have our Starlink mounted and we have unlimited wireless internet, which is fantastic. It runs into the van and we always have internet on thanks to our inverter. And also, we have tons of batteries because we're using battle-born batteries. So we have 500 amp hours of a battery system in the van, and that keeps us going for about 2.5 weeks with solar running. And then when that runs all the way down, we power up our generator and it charges up the van. If you look on the washroom, Logan mentioned there's solar on the roof and the side. Currently, we're using the Jackery panels, which are on the side of the washroom, to charge the inside batteries of the washroom. That runs the lights, the water heater, that kind of thing. But the roof solar panels, I wired up to the van. So they actually run down into the ground. They run down through the ground, and then we'll come check it out. There's actually a plug that powers the van.
But David, why wouldn't you just mount the solar on the van?
The sun doesn't hit where we have the van all day. Like, we get tons of shade thanks to all the beautiful trees around us. And the sun hits the washroom a lot more often. Plus, if we wanted to remove our 200 watts of solar and replace it with the 400 watts, which was our original plan, it would have taken so much work and we have tons of other things to do. So we ended up putting the 400 up there, adding it to the 200, and then running conduit in the ground to just a regular 120 volt plug. So I wired it up so I've got positive, negative, runs into the van, goes to a Y connector to our other solar, and then into our battery system. So we have roughly 600 watts of solar.
And last but not least is our tiny home. This is something we've wanted to do for a long time, me probably a little longer than David. So we're really happy to be starting the project now. And it may look like just a trailer, but we've actually put a lot of hours into this trailer. We've hired my dad's friend to extend the edges so that the trailer's 10 feet wide instead of 8. That gives us a little bit more living space. It's going to be 34 feet long and 14 feet high. So it's going to be a big tiny home and we're really excited to have a lot more space to spread out into. There's going to be 2 lofts inside, washroom, kitchen, everything you could ever imagine. It's going to feel quite luxurious compared to living in a van. And we're really excited to get going on this project and move into this space, hopefully sometime next year, definitely sometime next year. So this is something we're really excited to be sharing with you guys, and we're going to be creating a lot of content around it and a full video explaining the ins and outs of what we're doing.
So that's our off-grid property so far.
If you have any questions or comments or want to know something about a system we've set up, drop them in the comments below and we will get back to you.
Yep, and obviously we're going to have some more content in the future with the building process of our tiny home, and we're going to reveal to you our beautiful inside of our washroom.
And thumbs up if you like Sadie, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.